I read certain books in secondary school, books adults have not read, so they shaped my mind. But 99% of my peers didn't know anything about intentional success. So your generation is blessed. I know you think you are shortchanged. You think Nigeria is not good. Am I correct? You think Nigeria doesn't have opportunities. You think, but let me tell you something. Principle number one, there is more money in Nigeria than in the US. I said there is more money in Nigeria than in the United States for you. Do you agree? Okay, ask me how. No, ask me how again. Go and ask MTN. Did you hear what I said? Go and ask MTN. They left South Africa. Let me tell you the plain truth. MTN was a tiny company in South Africa. Because of the lack of communication opportunities in Nigeria, MTN, on the back of Nigeria, with your money and my money, became a global player today, one of the biggest in the world. They met one need in Nigeria, one need, your urge to talk to your friends and relations. To the extent that it was MTN that was the main sponsor of the South African World Cup. Before Nigerian market, MTN was a small company that nobody noticed globally when you discuss telecoms. Today, MTN is even in China. They are the king of Africa. They are everywhere. Because of Nigerian money, your recharge card. MTN couldn't have done that in US. Do you know why? The telecom space in US was completely filled. So why do I say there's more money in Nigeria than in US? People are running to US. It's not just about the money. Let me explain some things to you. You have more money here because you have more unmet needs here. There are more opportunities to give people things for which they will give you money. Granted that the space there makes life easier. A lot of people go there not just because of money. The space makes life easier. But if you are talking of making money, if you don't believe me, go and ask the Lebanese and the Chinese and the Asians why they come to Nigeria. Why should anybody leave the infrastructure in China, leave all the opportunities in China and come to Nigeria? Because there is easy money in Nigeria. Every sector in Nigeria, every single sector has huge gaps. Every sector, every, not some. But because we don't see the money, others will come and fill it for us. Go to Abuja and Lagos. The finest restaurants are Lebanese restaurants. Check hotels, where Port Harcourt, Lebanese. Check. So you begin to ask yourself, what are we really doing? Ask your neighbor, what are you doing? How come the biggest telecom company in Nigeria is from South Africa when we gave a free license to our own brothers and sisters? Are you aware that Nitel got a free license? Free. To do the same thing MTN was doing. Meanwhile, they had infrastructure before MTN started. Their own died. MTN paid $250 million for license. Nitel got it free. They squandered the license. Till today, they are not working. MTN is a multi-billion-dollar company. How do we explain that? It's a mindset. And that's what we're here to crack. So help me tell your neighbor, if you want to make money, change your mindset. I have 30 minutes, so I don't have too much time. I wish I had too much time to do a few things, but I don't. So I will go straight to the point. I decided to isolate a few things and do them well, so that I will not, I don't like people bringing me notes, telling me to round up. So I'll just do a few things quickly, and then we will take your questions and get out of your faces. Question number one, is it difficult for a young person to make money in Nigeria? Let me say in Enugu. Somebody should say yes or no. Is it difficult to make good money? Tell me the truth. And don't ask based on your imagination. Tell me what you think, what you genuinely think. Is it difficult, yes or no? You really think it's difficult? Okay, I wish I had time, I would have asked you, so why do you think it's difficult? But I will tell you something. How many of you are students of IMT? Can I see hands? Yeah, you are a student in IMT. Let me see your hands. You are an undergraduate from any other institution. Can I see your hands? So how come other institutions outnumber IMT when we're inside the IMT? I'm a little alarmed about that. It seems that the home team is not playing, actually. Okay, let me tell you a story quickly. God will help me to give me speed. In 2004, I had the privilege of preaching a message. I spoke to a church, and the topic was very interesting. He spoke about the fact that you don't build an ark when it's raining. They asked me to choose the topic. But what I did that day, after all the talk, was to ask people who wanted to build an ark. You know, God decided to use an ark, not a boat. So the ark could contain everybody, not just the man who built it. So I will tell you why you should make money. Some of you don't want to make money because you're Christians. You think it's evil, that the love of money, all sorts of things. See, you don't make money only for yourself. There are some people you see on social media. They pour that seed on this person. That person needs the surgery. Do you see them sometimes? Do you wish you can help sometimes? So why can't you help? You don't have money. So if you don't want to make money for yourself, make money so you can be a source of good for the society. There are rich men who don't like luxury. They just make money because they want to do good things for the world. If you do a little luxury for yourself, it doesn't matter. But let me say this clearly. After that program, I threw a challenge to the audience, 2004. I was very young, myself, very, very young. I said, if you want to make money, reasonable money, in the next 2 or 3 years, write your name. I came with the paper. So the pastor looked at me, he was puzzled. I said, Pastor, it's not a joke. If you want to make money, write your name here. The reason people don't make money is that they listen to messages like this, they walk away. The next time they are going to listen to a message is the next 2 months or 3 months or 6 months. It's like going to school, attending classes once in a year or twice in a year, and you expect to graduate. Are you going to graduate? No, sorry, let's talk. Are you going to graduate? If you attend French classes once every 2 months, you never speak French in your life. Because before you attend the next class, you have forgotten what they taught you in the previous class. Am I making sense? So the pastor asked me, why did you do that? I said, because I want to raise young people who are rich in your church. Then I was rich as a young man. I had a furniture company. My manager had a car. My manager had an official car. At the age of 28, I had 18 workers I was paying salary with a manager who had an official car. So I was qualified to talk to them. And I'm still qualified to talk to you. So when I finished that day, I left that church premises by 4 p.m. The people who wrote their names asked me, so what are we going to do? I started explaining to them that if you want to make money, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. But how fast you arrive at the end of the marathon depends on you. So if you are doing a marathon, you see some people who will do it in maybe 1 hour. Others will arrive at the same finishing point in 2 hours, but they want to finish. Some will not finish. Am I making sense? So if you want to make money, it's like making soup. You cannot make soup by putting one ingredient in the pot. Then you walk away and go and do some other things. Then after 2 years or 2 months, you come and put another ingredient in the pot. No. If you want to make soup, you have to be focused. You have to assemble your ingredients. You have to put them at the right time and then mix them at the right time. You have to not only have the ingredients, you have to know the sequence for putting them there. I have a library. And some people come to my library and they say, I want to read this book. I'll say, no, people don't read books from my library because they want to read. I prescribe the books. I tell them books are like medicine for your mind. If you have not done anything in your life and you go and start reading the magic of thinking big, you have not done anything small, you are thinking big. You may keep thinking big your entire life, you will not do anything. So when people come, I tell them, no, leave that one. You read it, but read this one first. So what do I give you to read first? Books like As a Man Thinketh. Books like The 8 Pillars of Prosperity. Books that will ground you in the principles of wealth creation. Books that will build you first, sharpen you as a machete. You are the source of the money, you. It is the choices you make that will decide whether you make money or not. It is not the things you do. It is how you do them, the decisions you make. So two persons will make money. God will give them the privilege to just run into money. One person will use most of the money to enhance his capacity and the capacity of his business to make money. The other person will go and buy a car with 30 million. Who looks more successful? The person with the car. Who is more successful? The person who invested. But the society will tell you, buy that Lexus Jeep, so they will know you have done well. You are not doing well, you are driving your capital. You are driving a factory. You don't have a proper factory. You are driving a car that can build a factory. And that takes me to what I want to do here. What do I want to do? I will give you a simple formula for creating wealth. I won't do justice to it today, but if you want to get to learn about it, you either conduct research or find a way to connect. If you want to make money, there's a very simple formula that will help you. It's not a mathematical formula per se, but it's a formula you have to work out. The formula is mindset plus skill set plus tool set equals success. Mindset plus skill set plus tool set equals success. And I'll run through the three of them quickly. It is out of your mind that all the choices you make and all the actions you take emanate. The most critical aspect of success in life is your mindset. There are some people who are so impoverished in their mind that when money knocks on their door, they will open the door and say, please, try the next door. Let me explain. There are some people that if you get a phone call giving you a good opportunity to make money, you say it's 419 automatically. No, is it true? You know, we have fake opportunities that fraudsters put in our faces. But sometimes somebody with good intentions will actually say, oh, I have this opportunity, I felt you should get it. You say, no, why me? No. You can't see yourself in that realm. Okay, let me explain something else. There are some people who are so poverty-minded that they consistently underprice themselves. I'll use myself as an example now. Now, I did a training not long ago. And I gave them the deal. We negotiated, they approved. I was happy. Good money for 2 days training. For security reasons, you don't want to mention the amount, but very good money. For 2 days training, 2 days work, you get the money that can build a bungalow or boys' quarter. That's the kind of money I'm talking about. But I went home, I looked at the figure. I said, but this is not fair. I don't think I did justice to that. What I'm going to give is more. The day we were supposed to sign the contract, I came with a different proposal. I still came with that original one in case they refuse. To cut the long story short, I got 1 million more in less than 10 minutes. Just for asking for it and trying to justify it. After just a few minutes, the man said, okay. This happened less than a month ago. I said, okay. You're making sense. But what shocked me was that, actually a little above 1 million, the money was like, say, this, 300,000. The man said, okay, let's make it round figure, and moved it up to this 500,000 himself. So when I walked away, I said, you see how people shortchange themselves? I didn't know that I had a better opportunity to make money. I misinterpreted the opportunity. I did a job for Nigerian breweries, early 2000, when they opened the brewery. I furnished some of their spaces. The first quotation I brought there, God is my witness, they told me the money was too small. They would disqualify me because the money was too small. Did you hear me? Now imagine you go to a customer. The customer says, "Ego neki geji kwara makwa." You say 30,000. The person says, "Okay, bye-bye. You are not qualified to sew for me because your money is too small." What saved me was that somebody liked me so much because I did something others didn't do. I brought a quotation, brought a proposal, and brought a sample. Even the Oibo man, the white man, the French man saw the sample and was like, "Where is this from?" They said, "Enugu." We said, "This can't be from Enugu." The man said it, "This can't be from Enugu." So they all fell in love with my sample. So one of them called me and said, your quotation is too small. They will disqualify you. I said, too small? After I felt I was there, I said, do you know, I went to my office and multiplied it by 2. And that's just what I did. I now went to that lady, I tracked her, since she was my guardian angel, my destiny helper. I said to her, Auntie, this is what I wrote. She said, it's still small. This is a true story. I now sat down and said, Auntie, what do I write? She said, it's unprofessional for me to be telling you what I'm telling you. I can't tell you what to write. I can't vex. Say, I multiply by 2 again. And then I called her on the phone and told her. She said, okay, well. When she said, well, I realized I was entering the range finally. But I wasn't quite there. By the time we were doing this, it was 2 months to the opening of the Ama Brewery. So by the time they commissioned me to do the job, I had less than 2 months. Something in my mind told me there is still an opportunity to squeeze out little money. I now wrote them a letter and said, because others had started work, I have a little time to do a very good job, that I need to be paid for emergency services. At that time, when money had value, they paid me 1.2 million for emergency services on top of my quotation. Can you help me tell your neighbor, know your worth? But let me also tell that same neighbor, don't overprice yourself. Because, see, I knew my worth. You don't, see, there are places I go to, honestly speaking, there are places I go to, I walk free. The same person who is talking to you now. There are places I go to, I'll just beg them, can I do something for you? Do you know why? It's a strategic opportunity to come into a big door. I'll beg you, just give me the chance. Let me do something. How much? He said, I don't need, it's not about the money, let me do something for you. I'm like a fisherman on that occasion, throwing my hook to catch you. Once I catch you, I will collect both the money of the present job and the one I did for free. Is somebody listening to me? So you have to know when to be a fisherman. But you have to also know when to maximize the work you have done. Your mindset is very critical. There are some people you will tell to be patient. That's what is in vogue now. People want to make money overnight. Guys are doing Yahoo. When Yahoo wasn't paying enough, they jumped into Yahoo Plus. What are they pursuing? Money. But let me surprise you. The people who do legitimate business have more money than people who do Yahoo. Don't misunderstand me. I'm telling you the truth. How do I know? Because I know the two sides. I know them personally, physically. The man who engages in Yahoo makes $50,000. He will use the entire money to buy a car and furnish his flat. He doesn't have a house, so he furnishes a flat in another man's house. You know why? Because he's expecting another $100,000 to come. Are you listening? Then some stupid girls will think that they have money. And they'll go and sit in front of that car and be doing their tongue like lizard and snake. And taking selfie and posting that they are doing well. Abi? But I have a friend who sells ladies' wear at Ogbete. He's on my mentorship class. He has 2 buildings. No, 3 buildings, and we just finished one at New Haven Extension. He drives a modest Toyota. The wife drives another modest Toyota. He has 3 buildings. Before he married, nobody knew he had 4 flats because he couldn't drive the houses around. I wish people can drive houses. Sometimes you just enter your 3-story building and be driving. So people also see that you have money. But because you can't drive houses, the girls will see those who have those cars and follow them sheepishly without knowing that the person he's living in the house, that's the owner of that house, he's driving a Corolla. So don't judge a book by its cover. I can tell you authoritatively that people who do legitimate business have more money. Okay, let me ask you this question. Who is the richest man in Nigeria? Mention the name. Who is the richest man in Africa? Okay, the richest man in the world. Did you see any drug baron there? Any 419er there? Unfortunately, or rather fortunately, the same principle applies. Check your state, your town, everywhere you go, the legitimate people are the richest. I'm telling you. So your mindset telling you that na agwe nori ibe no mambu anya bagwo. If Agwo decides to behave like that, we are not snakes now, we are human beings. You don't have to destroy somebody's business or destroy somebody's life to make money. As a matter of fact, even if you do, you're negating the principle that says, and that's the theme of my conversation today, I will bless you and add no sorrow. That's actually the scripture I wrote. But when I remember that I have 30 minutes, and we have men of God here who teach you scripture, I decided I will leave scripture for them. I will teach you practical things. I will bless you and add no sorrow. Some people appear to be blessed, but they have more sorrows than the blessing because they are blessed by the devil. The devil can also bless people. Are you aware? But God says, if I bless you, I will add no sorrow. Does anybody here want sorrow? Definitely not. So your mindset gives you the impression that you must join the fast lane to make money. Tell somebody it's not true. Just tell the person it is not true. So there are three things I mentioned. The first one is what? Mindset in the founder. The second one is what? Skill set. You see, the Bible values skills so much that when it was time to build the temple, they looked for the finest craftsmen. In fact, there is a book I was writing then, The Spirit of Bezalel. That is, there are craftsmen that are mentioned in the Bible. They were used as examples and standards. I tell anybody and everybody who listens to me, anything you're doing and you don't have top-notch skill, if you don't have top-notch skill, you're shortchanging yourself. You see, whether you are doing what we call craftsmanship, that is, you're a furniture maker, you're a tailor, people think that's the only place you need skill. No. If you're a teacher, you need skill. If you're a lecturer, you need skill. If you're a nanny, ordinary nanny, you are looking after people's babies, you need skill. You need to ask yourself, what is the best way to be the best nanny? You can be such an effective nanny that if you are not around, the children will be missing you more than their mother. Because your own nanny includes not just caring for them, physical and changing pampers. It includes singing for them, dancing for them, helping them with lessons. That is, you are a total minder, a total caregiver. People don't consciously improve their skills. One of my boys who used to attend my class, now he has made some money, stopped attending. There was a day I spoke about upgrading your skill. He paid 120,000. Imagine a young man who's a photographer in Enugu with a studio at Abani Road. He paid 120,000 to attend a photography course. About 2 months later, he came to share the testimony of how his entire business changed because of one course. Do you know that if you go to Lagos, if you compare photography in Lagos and Enugu, we are like 2 years or 3 years behind Lagos. This same Lagos here. If you go to Abuja, we are probably a little less time behind. Actually, Lagos is ahead of Abuja in everything. Because the new ideas will come to Lagos. Then from Lagos, it will go to Abuja, Port Harcourt, and start spreading. You know why it doesn't come to Enugu immediately? Ask me why. No, it's in Nigeria already, but ask me why. Do you know that if you go to Lagos now and you say, I want to upgrade my skill in baking, cake where person they chop, you go to a top-notch bakery school in Lagos, they will say you pay 2 million. If you tell any good person that kind of thing, the person will curse you, the person will curse your mother for learning how, are you a thief? Look at you, 2 million for what? How much did I use to go to university? That this money is more than the whole money I use. You see, okay, you don't go to university finish, why you can't bake? Why are you not working for Chevron? The people who go to university suppose they Chevron and Shell. You are not there. Because the university didn't teach you enough. The person wants to teach you how you can make money now. If you do that lesson, listen carefully, by the time you finish that lesson, what will happen is that you come back to Enugu, you were baking for 300,000. Suddenly, you start charging 700,000. And you charge 700,000 confidently, and they say, how? For this Enugu? You show the person a few pictures. You explain where you're coming from. You tell the person, I can put a picture of you and your bride on the cake. I can do this, I can do that. That one is old school now. But there was a time it was magic. And the person will pay you. Because you have new skills nobody has in Enugu, you can fix your price and you get it. But you have to go and get the skill first. And you have to pay to get it. You don't just pay with money, you pay with time. Nobody wants to pay. One of the guys that attended my class, this is a very practical story. All the stories I'm telling you are real. They are not, I didn't make any of them up. I asked them, what do you do? He said he was a teller. He's a graduate, but he sews. And I looked at him, and he didn't look like a tailor to me because of what he was wearing. I said, you sew, you design clothing? He said, yes. I said, okay, next training, bring the best clothing you have made. Then I brought my own. Then we had about 30 persons in the class. I didn't want to comment. I called all of them. I said, please, I hang the two. I said, assess these two clothes. They said, I didn't tell them the reason because they would have probably shown their colleagues some sympathy. So I didn't tell them. I just sang to. I said, this one and this one, two senators. Can you compare them? They said, this one looks like a foreigner. It's very neat. This one looks like the person they learn work. He was there. When we finished the conversation, I actually went to him and whispered, can I talk about it? Don't worry. I want to encourage you. I want to encourage you. Because I didn't want to embarrass him. And I told them that it's one of us that is this person. I used him as an example. He was there. He told me I could go ahead. And then he came out. We had a conversation. So he asked me, what do I do? I said, you have to go and upgrade your skill. I will tell you something shocking. A tailor with a shop had to close his shop, sent his two boys away, and had to go to another place to learn to sew afresh, to upgrade. From Monday to Friday, he was sewing in his own shop alone for only Saturday and Sunday. Tell me the truth. Will you do that? The answer is most likely no, maybe before today. Honestly. But you see, when I gave him that instruction, it looked stupid. I will digress for a minute and remind you that if you are going to be successful, sometimes you do things that look stupid. When Jesus told the fishermen to cast their net, it looks very stupid. Jesus wasn't a fisherman. He wasn't an expert on fishing. The men who told him that they toiled all night were experts. So they just came from the place where they're supposed to catch fish. They were in the place where you don't see fish normally. That's they were done with the day. And there was no fish. And then this man that has no business with fishing told them, cast your net. And when they cast the net, everything changed. They took an instruction from a man who knew more than they knew that the man knew. The same Jesus told them at some point, go and serve them. He told them to draw water to go and serve people who were waiting for wine. A normal, logical person like you would have told Jesus, Oga, we said wine has finished. We didn't say water has finished. This is water pot. We are looking for wine. Would that have been a logical protest? Yes. Were they logical when they obeyed Jesus? No. If you apply logic to certain things, you will fail. Do you know that sometimes we mark the scripts of our masters? That somebody will come to teach you. For instance, me now, and I came to talk to you about how you can become wealthy, create wealth for yourself. And you start calculating what I'm wearing, whether I'm wealthy. You are shortchanging yourself because I may not be the driving my house. So you may look at me and conclude that I'm not qualified to teach you in your imagination. Sometimes I tell young people that you are killing yourself when you go and assess the scripts of your teacher. When you are in the school, who born you to go and mark the scripts of your teacher? It is a superior teacher. The professor marks the scripts of the doctorate degree. Doctorate marks masters. You cannot be in a class and be marking the script of your lecturer. It means you need that psychiatric attention. But that's what some of you do. Somebody will work hard to bring somebody to teach you, and you'll be looking at the person and say, this one wearing shoe bent. Waiting needs to be about money. That I don't like the way his shoe looks. You cannot be teaching me about money. But he may like shoes that are bent. I can tell authoritatively that once a Japanese man called Tsusumi was the richest man in the world. He used to mend his own shoes by his hand. He was famous for that. But he was the richest man in the world. I can also tell authoritatively that at some point, the founder and owner of IKEA was the richest man in the world. He was driving a 17-year-old Toyota Crown, and he was the richest man in the world. So you now see him on the road, and they said, as they said, which was the richest man, when I knew the motor. Because small boys wear no filter in lace, go they get private jet. He's not interested. He built his money with a certain level of discipline. He has not changed. He doesn't want to change. So you have to learn to build your skill. That young man spent 1 year. But let me also encourage you. Some of you will be wondering, is this what you have to do to become? Yes, sometimes you have to do drastic things. But I'll tell you something. He was shocked. He asked me, why should I leave my shop? How do I survive? I said, go there first. Don't worry. But let me surprise you. Within 2 months of getting to that shop, he confided in me that he was making more money there than when he was in his shop. Ask me how. No, ask me how. The person who I took him to made this thing I'm wearing, and you are near me. You know, this thing is like a basket. Somebody caught it, and then somebody did it like this, like a basket, and he put it here. The first day I wore this clothing to somewhere, 3 gubernatorial aspirants asked me, can they get this? The teller charged me about 20,000 to make this. That other teller was charging 5,000. So I spoke to my teller. I said, look, he's my boy, help him. He was paying him more money than he was charging. Like he was charging 4,000, 5,000 to make cloth. He was paying him 5,000, 6,000 to couple cloth for him after he taught him for 2 months how to sew straight. So for coupling, for helping him, for assisting him, he was making more money than doing the entire cloth because he was in a superior environment. It's like you're a gate man here. They don't pay you the same thing when you're a gate man in US or gate man in Chevron here or gate man in Shell. Gate man pass gate man. Teller pass teller. So while he was there, within 2 months, he wanted to do 6 months upgrade. He did 1 year on his own. Nobody persuaded him because he was making more money and he was learning new skills. Hello? If he didn't obey, he thought he was going to lose money. He made more money. You know that when he finished with that man, I sent him to another person. I said, this guy is good with this. Go and learn that. Now he has a shop. But something happened. About a month ago, he came to me. He said, fuel, this, I want to increase my price. I said, to how much? He said, 15,000, 18,000 for senator. I said, have you checked what competition is charging? Have you checked what your former guy, that there are competition? Maybe you are in the same range of scale. Don't price yourself out of the market. Have you done your? He said, no, child, thanks, sir. That's why I always come to you. So he had to go and check. He said, but how do I go to test? He said, you don't have to go. You can send people to go. Say, how much for good senator? See this picture. What's this? So you know what the market is doing. If you price yourself out of the market, you will not have customers. So are we talking? This is a practical MBA I'm teaching you now. You do what you call industrial research. Some call it industrial espionage. You find out what competition is doing. So you don't do something that doesn't make sense. Somebody will come to your shop and look at your shop, no AC, nothing, and you're saying 20,000. He goes to the other shop, AC, they blow him. They give him soft drink, give him bottled water, where they code. The person says 20,000. Where do you think the person will go? You don't go to the AC place. Has a bigger brand, has a bigger space, has the same scale you have. So you have to upgrade your skill. And then, you see, I said mindset, skill set, and what? Tool set. In that order, a person who has a fantastic mindset can make money without too much skill. But you see, skill is necessary. But with little skill, a person with the right mindset can make money. With little tools or defective tools, a person with the right mindset can walk around those tools. The person can even borrow somebody's suit or hire somebody's tool. Your mind is number 1. Your skill, number 2. Your tools, number 3. But they're all important. When I started my furniture business, I was very young. I left school. I didn't want to queue for jobs. So I decided to do something. I did 1 year training, theoretical training on interior design and furniture making. 1 full year after studying engineering. Then I did 1 year apprenticeship in a workshop of a man who didn't go to school. I'll tell you this part so that you learn to humble yourself. Do you know that when I was going the whole of Enugu looking for somebody who would teach me practical furniture making, I didn't want to be just contractor. I wanted to know the trade. Nobody agreed to take me. For 3 months, I was going everywhere. They refused to take me. Then I went home and sat down and asked myself, why? What is wrong with you? Is there something, maybe a foul spirit that follows you around? That once they see you, they say, we won't take this one. When I did the analysis, I couldn't find the answer. I talked to one of my very intelligent friends. Let me tell you the truth. One of the things that will determine how far you can go in life is the people you surround yourself with. And don't live here without vetting the people you surround yourself with. Some of you surround yourselves with useless people. You are the smartest person in the group. Every other person is a mumu. It means that every advice they'll give you can only bring you down. But I don't want to talk about that. There's no time for that. So I spoke to my friend. My friend looked at me and said, you know you took me for one of those trips? I said, yes. He said, the answer is clear. Now, why are you looking up and down? I said, what is the answer? Let me tell you the answer. My brother traveled to UK. He's a doctor. He left a brand new 505. I said, brand new, tear rubber. So imagine a young man wearing designer jeans and t-shirts. He packs a brand new 505. You will be your guy for the workshop. You get pick up. And he comes from the 505 and comes to explain to you in flawless English that he wants to learn how to make furniture. I said, they will be nice to me and explain to me that we don't teach anybody how to make furniture. Meanwhile, they have apprentices there. Then when I leave, I can imagine what they'll be saying. What exactly is he? Now this boy, Amacharakwai Hill. Brand new 505. You park it in front of the shop of a man who probably doesn't have a car. The man who eventually taught me has a pickup, the kind of pickup that when you close the door, you have to hold the door so it doesn't open on its own. And then I packed a new 505 and I was telling him to teach me. Guess what? I went to his shop the first time. He rejected me. I came back, he took me. I went and brought out the jeans I was using for practical in school. Packed that same car. Gave him like 1 month. And then trekked from the beginning of Chime to his shop at Upper Chime. So I was sweating. I was looking like somebody who needed help. Then I was speaking Igbo language. So the man was telling his boys, you see, he didn't know that the only abego here before. It was when I started learning. One day, I was still coming with the car, but the man never saw it. I'll park the car, hide it, and then come to the workshop. But one day there was an emergency, and I forgot. I just parked the car. The man said, I said, Daddy, I'm going to already, and I'm doing well. I started from sandpaper. Most of you don't know what sandpaper is. The most boring, annoying job a human being can do. For 2 months, with my gas and paper stool, yes, sir. You got wear sandpaper with your bare hands, nature wood, within the Jeho school. But let me talk to you. When at the peak of my furniture trade, I'm not saying this as arrogance. When I go to a site and talk about how to do the site up, and you bring any of my colleagues in this anyway, the person will ask you, has Larry been there? If you say yes, you say there's no point. They confided in me like I'm their own consultant, that that's like he's the organ of the business. When it comes to design, finishing, scale, he's the boss. Because he's the only person who combines modern education and local hands-on skills. I was the only person who had the research and development unit in my workshop. And I made money from it. Sorry, let me just tickle you a little. In those days, I about wood furniture. Now you do MDF, HDF. Then I made sandpaper, made scraping, bar spray. In those days, God punish you when you get bad luck. You dey spray work. You don't do the work, but the work is very fine. You know, I wardrobe and does. Now buy spray. Then this summertime when you go just come from nowhere. The whole thing about spray are white. And ultra white, once it turns white, you've had it. The only way you can remove that thing is to scrape off the paint. You see people crying literally, because you can't explain to the owner that weather changed. It doesn't bother the owner. The important thing is it's white. You have to refinish it. I didn't like the idea of praying about weather. You are spraying, it starts raining, you start spraying. You now become a prophet trying to hold rain because you are spraying. So I said, I don't want to do that. I did something that is common sense. My dad was an industrial chemist. I went to my dad and asked him, there should be a course for this thing. What is the course? What is the solution? The man laughed and told me the solution is very simple. He answered immediately, not later. He talked about how the cold wind affects the drying time and changes the chemistry, and what you should do is to add a little chemical called retarder to the thinner and mix it, and it will never happen. But if it has happened, it will clear it and restore it to normal. I thought the man was joking. This man never sprayed anything in his life. But he knew because he was an expert in chemicals. I came back to Enugu, I tried it, it worked. That is, I took something that was white, I mixed and sprayed, and it cleared. That thing gave me plenty of money. Once your furniture comes, they'll say, go and meet him. I will charge you money. You won't know what I mix. I'll just mix it. I'll come and spray it. Everything will work. So tell your neighbor, upgrade your skill. Anything you're doing that your skill is mediocre, that your skill is average, you are just struggling. You will keep struggling for the rest of your life. If you want to actually earn good money, you should have top-notch skills. Of course, there are other things that will complement your skill. But if you don't have the skill, forget it. You're wasting your time. So if you're here and you're doing something and your skill is average or above average, you are not serious. If you're a DJ and you just play music, you play music in nightclub and you play very well, and you say you are good, then one day they'll call you to go and pray for somebody's birthday, a priest. And then while the priest is coming out, you start playing Onyenwe Panti Nolilo and Dukunwanyo. What will happen to you? They won't pay you that day. They say, who brought this man here? Stop. Are you a good DJ for nightclub? Yes. Have you developed skills for certain? No. So I told you 3 things. If you want to make money, you have to watch your mindset, your skill set, and your tool set. You have to have the top-notch tools. Don't go and buy the latest car, buy the latest tools. When you make enough money, the cars will still be there. Better cars will be around for you to buy. Did you hear me? You are not listening to me. You know the things I'm saying are not popular opinion. I know you want to look like you are successful. But please, watch your mindset, your skill set, your tool set. Don't let the society determine what you do. Don't pander to what is popular, that you want to trend. Why are you trend? You are not supposed to be competing with people who are in the movie industry. You are competing with yourself. As a matter of fact, the only competition you should have is yourself. And as I round up, I will tell you one story. I wanted to tell the story in the beginning. I said, no, let me just share some principles and end with that story. When I finished that, remember that message I talked about? And I told them to write their names if they wanted to make money. I was talking to young people, basically. But something very significant happened. They wrote their names. And we agreed. I told them the reason a lot of messages don't work is because we teach people, and then the next time they will hear about how to make money is 6 months later or 1 year later. There's a book I'm writing, I published it this year, The Process of Empowerment. Why most empowerment programs fail. And they are still failing. Our governors spend billions, they fail. Church spends, it fails. It fails because there's no continuity, there's no hand-holding. So these people agreed that they will listen to me, I will hold their hands and guide them. They were largely young people. Let me take 2 of them, just 2 of them. One of them was in IMT. His name was Obonna. One of them was Emeka, he's still in Enugu. Some of you may know him if I say more. He's a very popular young man. He makes footwear. They were in that group. I did what I call skill auditing. I'll end in less than 5 minutes. I did skill auditing for them. What was skill auditing? I asked them a simple question. What can you do well that you love to do? Simple question. Emeka told me that, what can I do well? What can I do? I said, not something physical necessarily, but anything. You can cook, you can dance, anything you can do well. Anything at all. He said, I can sell very well. I can sell sand to Arabs. I can sell ice to Eskimos, if you understand that. I can sell. Emeka didn't have to convince me he could sell, because if Emeka likes your shirt, I'm not joking. Even as a small boy, if he liked the shirt you were wearing, that shirt was already on his back. He will persuade you to give it to him. I don't know how he did it, but he had that grace. So he said, I can sell very well, but I don't know what to sell. I said, okay, bye-bye. I got the other young man, Obon. I said, what can you do very well? He said, I can make footwear very well. I didn't believe him. He was in IMT. He was doing his ND2. I said he could make footwear very well. I said, very well. He said, yes. I said, I taught you about excellence, about being the best. You said, very well. He said, yes. I said, how? He told me a story. Sorry, sir. I will share this. So some of you who feel like you are shortchanged, you should understand that when Scripture said that all things work together for good, it's not a joke. When Obonna finished primary school, the father didn't have money to send him to secondary school. So they sent him to do apprenticeship at Ogbete in shoemaking. He was so good after a few years that when his father withdrew him to send him to secondary school, his master cried He said his master cried literally. He came to his father and cried and said, "You are taking my money away. You are taking my best hand. He can be rich making shoes." The father said, "I want him to go to school." So what God did was that God punctuated that school and sent him to get something that will give him money later. He didn't complain. He did it excellently. Went back to school. Incidentally, Emeka and Ogbonna were close friends. When I took Emeka to Cosmo FM in those days to speak about a seminar we held, how to make, manage, and multiply money, Emeka said that I can testify that this man is real because when I met him, that people who were poor referred to me as poor. That people who were poor called me poor. They were living at a place called that's when, I think they call it Agric or so. That's when you get to camp. You start going to that place. They were living in mud houses. Both Emeka and Ogbonna were from the same neighborhood of poverty. The two families knew themselves. It was Emeka that brought the other person to that my training. So you know what I did? I said, since two of you are friends, when we started creating businesses, I said, Ogbonna, you're going to make footwear. Emeka, you will sell it. So you're going to have a company. We formed a company. The name of the company was Hippo Footwears. But let me go to the end of this story. How did they start? I didn't believe Ogbonna, so I gave him money. He went to Ogbete, bought materials. When he brought what he made, I didn't believe he made it. Honestly. It was excellent. So I didn't believe him. He was laughing. I said, okay, we'll do another one. I gave him money. I said, you make it in my shop. I had a furniture factory. So he came, and in one day, he made excellent palms right there in my presence. I said, okay, this is nice. Long story short, they started the business. It was like a joke. They were telling me, I said, no, don't expand. There's something you call organic growth. Don't grow too fast. Just take it easy. They were measuring people's feet in churches, everywhere, and making for them, measuring and making. They realized they were onto something good when a crew from SABC, South African Broadcasting Corporation, came to Nigeria to cover Redeem program, and one of them saw palms that a very popular man in Enugu, I don't want to mention his name, was wearing, and he ordered the palms. So these boys made palms for almost everybody on the crew of SABC from Enugu. So let me go to the end of the story. While still in school, Emeka did a 4-bedroom bungalow while in Esut. At some point, they had distributors in Enugu, Abakaliki, Onitsha, Oka, distributors who paid money in advance for their products. I was their consultant. Now, if you want, so see, the person clapping is the person who has made money. Some of you have not made money. You won't clap because you don't understand. So you should be clapping. They were making money. They were living, of course, they moved their families out of mud houses. I was the person who told them, get good rooms. I supervised it. They got 2 rooms. They were living side by side. I told them, put 1 horsepower AC. They said, why? I said, because when you work hard, you need to come. Let that AC blow your head so you calm down before you read. I was mentoring and coaching every aspect of their lives. But guess what? This thing it wasn't a joke. That is, they were making money. They were building a company. They had built a company already. People were fighting over their products. They had the only footwear company that gave 1-year warranty on products. If it spoiled or was defaced, if you bring it, they'll give you new slippers. And they did it. When they had a factory fault, about 20 had problems. They withdrew it. I told them, don't fail on your promise. Don't think about it. They were like, Coach, what are we going to do with all the... I said, no, it's simple. You now know why it happened. You refurbish it and sell them at lower prices so you won't lose entirely. And we'll tell the people who are buying that this is refurbished. So these 2 boys made so much money that Emeka was the only person who was faculty president without election, because he was paying school fees for his indigent colleagues. As a student, he was paying school fees. You don't have money for school fees, we'll pay for you. So the faculty came together and asked him to contest. He said he won't contest. He asked me, I said, tell them you won't contest. You don't have time for contest. If they want to, they should actually call you unopposed. They did. First time and only time. Because he was a real don. Not just a don with money, but a don with compassion. He was teaching them. That's they will organize seminar and call their classmates to come and teach them. How did you make this money? So why I'm saying this is because It's not rocket science to make money. I wanted to tell their story to prove that when you sit down and combine the ingredients of money making, it works. But you have to combine it, you have to be consistent, you have to see it as a marathon, not a sprint. And when you give it time, you'll be surprised how eventually all things work together for good. On a funny note, I will tell you this, just one last peep on a funny note. Emeka went to Abakaliki one day and collected 200 and something thousand. Do your math, that was around 2006. 200 and something thousand in cash. Then transfer wasn't popular from their distributors. As he was coming back, he entered a bus. Armed robbers were in the bus. That's the reason I'm telling this story. So they took the bus into the bush. When they accosted them, people were hiding their phones and hiding money. Emeka told them, don't harm anybody, I have money. I'll give you money, just let us go. He gave them the whole money he collected. Do you know that they isolated him and told him to go to front seat? That they treated him like a king. They said, come out from there. They put him in the front seat. Then they took them into the bush and searched everybody. Male, female, hermaphrodite. Everybody removed their clothes. They searched them, collected all their money. Even armed robbers were telling them that two people are liars. You said you didn't have money. We found money on you. No, we don't know more of money. Our job will be easier. You should have just submitted the money like Emeka, and you are hiding the money. When they finished the robbery, they brought only Emeka. This is a true story, to the road. They left others in the bush. They collected their clothes and tied their clothes in a bundle and put in the bus so that they will not run for help. But because they felt Emeka didn't have any issue, Emeka was telling them, I know why you're doing this. But you can make money. He was talking to them, the armed robbers. After you give a man 260,000, which is like how much now? Probably up to 15 million now. The man will listen to you when you talk. Small boy. When he came out, he persuaded them. He said, okay, see, yeah, I had affair. Those people are naked. Can you give me their clothes? They said, they gave him money and said, go to and we'll leave those people. They were hiding their money. You are a gentleman, you gave us your money. He persuaded them, they gave him back their clothes. He went back. Emeka said that for the first time, half-naked women were hugging him voluntarily because he brought back their clothes. I was telling them, hey, take your clothes, take your clothes. So they asked, how did you do it? He said he told them now that, that he had paid for them, so they should just... But that's not why I told you the story. I told you the story because when Emeka came on radio, Cosmo FM, I asked Emeka, why did you do that? And that's why I'm telling you the story. Do you know what Emeka said? Emeka said that I didn't want to endanger my life over 250,000 because I knew that I could make it again and again and again and again. He had a process for making the money. Somebody could have fought over that money and died. But because he had a process that could replicate the money over and over again, he handed it over because he was even pitying them. They don't know anything. This money, I can make it again in the next 1 month. If he didn't have a process, he could have died that day, struggling to save that money. What we are talking about is don't just make money. Create a process that will just be bringing money to you. Stop being a hunter. Become a farmer. A hunter goes into the bush to shoot an animal he didn't keep there. A hunter will nurture the animals. Anytime he wants to eat chicken, he will enter his poultry and collect one and eat it because he fed it. My prayer is that one day you have so much money, and robbers won't see you. They won't see anybody near you. But you have so much money that you can give out money, do good things. And when your wife, your husband asks, why are you giving out so much money? Say, because I'm making so much money. I can do it because more money is on the way. Thank you very much. God bless you.
You can do better, you can do better. Please keep celebrating him. Wow, that was a powerful session. Let me be sure that you got it clearly. Mindset plus equals to. He said that, the most critical component of your success is your mind. And when he got to skill set, he said anything you are doing and you don't have top-notch skills, you are shortchanging yourself. And the most interesting one to me, when he got to